Open a NADA guide from 2025 and look up a 2022 travel trailer. You'll find valuations sitting at 40 to 60% below original MSRP, not 40 to 60% below dealer markup, 40 to 60% below the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Picture this, a 2-year-old travel trailer sitting on a dealer's back lot with weeds growing around the tires, already aged out by a market that stopped pretending to care. This isn't normal depreciation, this is structural collapse. You were sold an illusion during the COVID boom. The story went like this: RVs hold their value because demand is high and supply is limited. Here's the thing, demand wasn't real. It was artificial, manufactured by Thor Industries and Forest River, flooding the market with units they couldn't build fast enough to hit quarterly projections. Overproduction wasn't growth. It was a con dressed up in earnings calls. Today I'm going to show you why your RV didn't just depreciate, it was engineered to fail from the moment it left the factory floor. I'm going to walk you through the systemic failures that turn recreation vehicles into financial sinkholes. And at the end, I'll show you the one category of RVs that still refuses to die and why the corporations building garbage absolutely hate it. Stop shopping like a victim and start thinking like an auditor. Delamination, the value killer. Sidewall. Delamination is the silent assassin of RV resale value. It starts as a bubble in the fiberglass skin, a slight ripple you might miss during a walkthrough. Underneath, water has already compromised the bond between the exterior panel and the Luan plywood substrate. Here's why it happens. Corporate cost cutting. Manufacturers switch to thinner fiberglass skins, water-based adhesives that fail in heat cycles, and Luan plywood that absorbs moisture like a sponge. The lamination process itself got faster because production speed equals more units per day, and workers on piece rate pay have zero incentive to let adhesive cure properly. Independent RV techs are reporting delamination appearing as early as 18 to 36 months. Dealers know this. They quietly refuse trade-ins with visible bubbles even if the owner claims it was professionally repaired. Translation: once a wall delaminates, the RV becomes radioactive to informed buyers. It looks cosmetic on the surface. It's terminal underneath. This isn't depreciation. This is drywall rot in a rainstorm pretending to be a vehicle. Frame flex. When the skeleton fails, your RV's frame is supposed to be its structural foundation. Instead, it's the weakest link in a chain held together by hope and self-tapping screws. Frame flex happens when an underbuilt chassis can't handle the weight and torsion of highway travel. You'll see cracked welds at stress points, doors that no longer align with their frames, and slide outs that bind because the entire structure is twisting. This isn't a maintenance issue. This is a design failure outsourced to Lippert components. The monopoly supplier building frames to minimum weight specifications because volume contracts matter more than over-engineering. Recall notices prove the point. Instead of full frame replacements, manufacturers issue reinforcement kits. Literal band-aids welded onto a skeleton that was inadequate from day one. Owners report doors that won't close after long trips and cabinets separating from walls because the frame underneath is flexing like a bridge during an earthquake. Translation: a flexing frame means your RV is slowly tearing itself apart every mile you drive it. You bought a house, they put it on a coat hanger. Roof and sealant failure. Slow motion. Total loss. Roof membrane separation and sealant breakdown are the most predictable disasters in the RV industry, and they happen because speed trumps precision on every production line in Elkhart, Indiana. Manufacturers use cheap lap sealant applied by workers who have seconds, not minutes, to complete each section. There's no cure time. The unit rolls off the line with wet sealant that hasn't bonded, and the roof membrane is installed without proper edge sealing. Fast forward 18 months and you've got separation around air conditioning units, front caps, and slide toppers. Dealers refuse roof warranty claims by citing maintenance neglect. They'll say you didn't reseal on schedule, even though the factory seal never worked in the first place. Meanwhile, water enters invisibly through hairline cracks, rots the sealant substrate, and destroys resale value without the owner even knowing there's a problem until an inspector finds mold during a trade-in appraisal. Translation: a leaking roof doesn't announce itself with sirens and flashing lights. It just erases value month by month until your RV is worth less than the loan balance. If this is already sounding familiar, hit subscribe. This channel exists because buyers weren't warned. Slide out rot, the hidden decay. Slide out sold RVs, they also destroyed them. The failure mode is simple. Slide floors are built with oriented strand board that absorbs moisture through exposed edges. The vinyl membrane on top is too thin. The seals around the perimeter are cost reduced to the point of being decorative. Water gets in during rain, during washing, during storage. The OSB swells, compresses, and rots from the inside out. RV techs report slide floor rebuilds exceeding $10,000. That's more than the slide out adds to the resale value of the entire unit. Buyers doing pre-purchase inspections miss soft spots because they're walking on carpet or laminate that hasn't collapsed yet. 6 months later, the floor gives way under furniture weight. Here's the thing, slides were added for marketing, not longevity. They create interior square footage that photographs well and closes sales. They also create structural weak points that fail faster than any other component on the RV. Translation, the feature that sold you the RV becomes the reason nobody will buy it used. Slides are square footage financed with future regret. Electrical and tank failures. The liability risk, loose wiring, tank strap failures. Grounding issues that cause appliances to short out randomly. These aren't edge cases, they're standard operating procedure in an industry that hires undertrained labor, rewards production speed, and hides every system where buyers will never look during a walkthrough. NHTSA recall databases are full of bulletins involving wiring, chafing against metal edges, and freshwater tanks detaching on highways. There are documented incidents of black water spills on interstates because holding tank straps failed under load. Electrical fires caused by connections that were never properly crimped. Once an RV develops a reputation for safety issues, a resale drops off a cliff. Insurance companies start asking questions. Financing gets harder. Private. Buyers walk away the moment they see a recall notice in the vehicle history. Translation, you can fix cosmetics with a buffer and some decals. You can't outrun a reputation for catching fire or dumping sewage on I-40. Someone in the comments said, mine looked fine until the underbelly fell apart on the highway. You're not crazy. That's not an anomaly. That's how these units fail when accountants ran the show instead of engineers. Corporate oversupply, why prices collapsed. Market saturation is the reason your RV lost value faster than you could make payments. Thor Industries in Forest River doubled production output during COVID without any exit strategy. They assumed demand would stay elevated forever. It didn't. By 2023, dealers were stuffed with inventory they couldn't move. Thousands of new units sat unsold on dealer lots while used prices cratered because nobody wants to buy a 2-year-old RV when a new one costs the same after fire sale incentives. Here's how this works. When new RV prices fall, used prices don't just decline, they implode. Comparable sales drop by 30 to 50% in a single model year because the market resets around distressed inventory. Your trade-in value gets benchmarked against a brand new unit being sold at a loss just to clear lot space. Translation, they printed RVs like stimulus checks and now the market is paying the price in collapsing resale values. You didn't lose money because you picked the wrong brand. You lost money because the entire industry built twice as many units as the market could absorb. Warranty illusion, the countdown timer. Warranty coverage masks build quality until it doesn't. Manufacturers structure warranty terms around the assumption that most catastrophic failures will occur after coverage expires. It's planned obsolescence hidden inside legal language. A 1-year bumper-to-bumper warranty sounds reasonable until you realize that delamination, frame flex, and roof leaks typically appear in year 2 or 3. Owners report denied claims for water damage cited as maintenance-related, even when factory sealant failed. The warranty wasn't designed to protect you. It was designed to protect the manufacturer from liability during the brief window when failures would trigger recalls. Here's what happens to resale value. Once the warranty ends, the market assumes the problems begin. Buyers calculate risk differently when there's no coverage. They discount the price to account for imminent repairs. Translation, the warranty wasn't protection, it was a countdown timer. And when it hits 0, your RV's value evaporates, or badge. Engineering, everything is the same R. V, different brand names, same factory, same failures, different decals. Badge engineering is the industry's dirtiest secret. A Keystone, a Dutchmen, and a Heartland might have different logos, but they share identical floor plans, identical frames from Lippert, and identical construction methods. VIN. Decoding reveals the truth. These competing brands roll off the same production lines in the same facilities. When a recall gets issued, it hits multiple brands simultaneously because they're built with the same defective components. When buyers figure this out, brand loyalty dies. And when brand loyalty dies, resale value collapses because there's no differentiation in a saturated market. Translation: you paid a premium for a brand name that meant nothing. Different stickers, same rot. The era of quality RVs is over, not because it had to be, but because it was more profitable this way. A depreciation isn't accidental, it's systemic, baked into every decision made by corporations optimizing for quarterly earnings instead of long-term reliability. Here's what still works: older pre-2019 units built before the COVID production frenzy, when manufacturers still had reputations to protect. Molded fiberglass trailers like Casitas and Scamps that have no seams and no delamination risk. Low-volume independent builders who don't answer to Wall Street analysts and can't afford to destroy their brand with garbage construction. Don't let them take your retirement savings and call it recreation. Stop financing their mistakes with your trade-in loss. Subscribe, because buying blind is exactly what they're counting on.